We had 8 green days in a row. Right now, today is the first red day after 8 green days. Now, I want to just remind you that the last time that we had 8 green days in a row, let's quickly go back and look at the last time that we had 8 green days in a row, was over here. So we had 8 green days in a row. We then went down. Let's quickly look at how much we went down. We went down after the 8 green days. We had some kind of correction. If I remember correctly, it was about 8%. Okay, about 9-10%. And then what happened was we went up, and we went up about 85%, if I remember correctly. 83.75%. And that took us to an all-time high. So that's the last time that we had 8 green days in a row. Question is, what's going to happen now? The question is, are we going to get a little bit of a correction, maybe a 5-6% correction before we go on the next leg up, or is this leg going to be different? Now, what we saw is we saw that Bitcoin rejected the 200-day moving average. Now, Kyle, who is the charting master genius, he'll tell you that the first time that you try and break the 200-day moving average, it's not going to be easy, right, Kyle? It's not going to be that easy, right?
Yeah, maybe not first attempt.
Not first attempt. Let's see what happened last time. Let's see what happened last time when we got the 8 green days in a row. Let's go quickly find that last time. Oh, okay. Well, there goes my chart. Hold on a second. We have to burn the studio. There's no other way. Okay, so let's look at the last time. What happened? Let me bring my 200-day moving average back. So we crossed it first time. The last time we crossed it first time, it was a clean break on the last time. So let's see what happens this time. What we do know, though, is that the smart money is taking big bets on blockchain, and they're taking big bets on certain blockchains. They're not taking big bets on any blockchain. So today we're going to look at what the smart money is doing, and then we're going to work out whether the smart money knows something that we don't know, whether Kyle and his friends know something that we don't know, because that's what could be happening. Also, we're going to talk about Ronin and the hack and what it means, because there's now $600 million of Ethereum basically sitting in a wallet. Now, the question is, can that $600 million worth of Ethereum actually move the market? That's what we're going to be looking at. And then we're going to be doing giveaways, and then I've got a whole lot of altcoin news for you guys. So it's going to be a busy show. It's going to be one of our better shows. It's going to be one of our biggest, highest alpha shows. So let's do this. Let's get out of bed. There are people, I know there are some people that actually tune into the show for that song. So for those of you who don't like the song, unfortunately, there's nothing we can do about it, because there are people that they actually come here just for the song, just to get out of bed, and then they don't watch the rest of the show. We know that because YouTube actually gives us that data. I mean, imagine you tune into Crypto Banter just to hear that song every single morning. Okay, let's look at what's happening today. Well, before that, first of all, welcome back, guys. I'm Crypto Man Run. I'm here lots of times every single day, bring you crypto love and crypto wisdom with the gang, with Sheldino just before me, who did a great charting show today, and he showed you guys how to build a portfolio. We had Hustle last night. Hustle broke the Ronin story last night. He was going to do another show for you guys, and then Hustle's like a gaming champion. I mean, this is his whole expertise. And I phoned him. I said, Hustle, you cannot do the 5 best gaming blockchains. And then within 10 minutes, he pivoted his whole show, and he was the first guy to cover the Ronin expert. We're going to talk about that a little bit more today, and maybe we'll even bring Hustle on here. And then Miles did an amazing show this morning around ETH 2.0. So we're going to keep bringing you crypto love and crypto wisdom, and we're going to build the smartest and the richest crypto community in the world. So if you're not part of the community yet, subscribe to the channel. If you are, like this video, smash the like, and tell me in the comments what you think of the video. And today we're going to be doing lots of giveaways. If you don't have a ByBit account, now is a great time to get a ByBit account, because here's how it's going to work. I get a live list of the names of people that have signed up on ByBit. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to double the value of your account. If I select your account later on today, I'm going to double the value of your account. So if you've got $1,000 in your account, I'm going to double the value of your account. If you've got $2,000 in your account, I'm going to double the value of your account. If you've got $80 in your account, I'm going to double the value of your account. So make sure that you do it, because it's going to be a lot of fun. And then we're also going to be doing some Chingari NFT giveaways. That's what we're going to be doing today. So let's have fun. I mean, it's all about having fun with the community. And of course, we're also going to talk about Bitcoin and altcoins and the Ronin exploit and a whole lot of other things. So let's get this show on the road. What do you say? What do you say? What do you say? Let's go. Let's start thinking fast. Let's go start moving. Okay, so where are we? We are here. This is exactly where we are. we are 8 positive days in and 1 red day. So 8 good days so far and 1 red day. As I said to you before, the last time we had 8 positive days, what happened was we had a slight pullback, 10% pullback, which, I mean, a 10% pullback would take us back to about 43, somewhere around there, maybe 44, depending on where you start. And I mean, I can't see that happening because we've got huge buyers in the market. Remember, we've got Do Kwon in the market now. He's not stopping. We'll talk about that later, and I'll show you a little video clip, which I think tells a hell of a lot about what his strategy is. You've got Michael Saylor coming in with another $200 million at some point. So there are huge buyers in the market. Also, I think that world tensions have now calmed down. This whole Russia-Ukraine war has calmed down. And what you can see is that they didn't manage to clinch a ceasefire, which is, I guess it's quite sad that they didn't get an actual ceasefire. But, that's how these things work. You can't expect to get a ceasefire every time. But they did kind of call for a slight de-escalation. So whereas the world thought that there may be a ceasefire, there wasn't. And you can see it in the commodities chart. So we've been watching the commodities chart. We know a lot of commodities come from Russia and Ukraine. And we know that the commodities chart is the best chart that tells us whether the world thinks that there's going to be peace again. And if we get the commodities chart breaking out of this trend line, then I would say that we're on the way to getting peace. So what we saw yesterday was we saw a big red candle because people held out hopes that the market was there was going to be some kind of breakthrough, and maybe this would lead to the end of the war. We had commodities dropping by about 10% over 2 days. So then today we had a green day. So commodities are up by 3% today, which kind of says, look, we know this, we know what's going on. We think that the war it's not finished, but we're not worried, because if they were worried, then what would happen is you would see the commodities chart breaking out again, and it's not breaking out again. In fact, what the markets are looking at now is something completely different. The markets are now shifting their attention to recession talks. So if you look at the S&P 500, it's interesting that after all this FUD that we've had, this whole correction that everybody's been talking about, and the Russia-Ukraine war, and interest rates going up, and how will the Fed increase interest rates, the market is now priced in the fact that the Fed is going to increase interest rates by 0.5% in the May meeting. But more interesting is that if you look at where we are, if you look at the bottom, and let's take this point as the bottom over here, we are now on the S&P, we are 13% above the bottom. Okay, now more interestingly for me is we are right now 4% below the all-time high. So we've had like this, after all the FUD, after everything else, everything else, we've kind of seen a full recovery here. Crazy to think that after everything that's been going on, we've seen a full recovery, and we are now 4% away from an all-time high. And the focus has now shifted completely from interest rate hikes. That's now something of the past. Everyone's factored in interest rate hikes. No one's really talking about how many interest rate hikes, because no one really cares, because no one actually believes that the government's going to be able to do all these interest rate hikes with the commodity cycle being so expensive because of the war. And so what everybody's now shifting their attention to is the new buzzword in town. What's the new buzzword in town? Because, markets have to have a narrative. Markets don't work well without a narrative. We had to get this narrative of interest rates. We needed, Powell's about to slow down the economy and increase interest rates. Then the bees moved to another narrative, and the next narrative was Russia-Ukraine war. Now, Russia-Ukraine war is like, okay, we're going to get peace. We're not sure how much or when we're going to get peace, but we've seen the worst of the escalation. There's not going to be a World War III. We're not going to get a nuclear war. And yes, there may be some escalations, but right now we're at a de-escalation phase. And you can see that both parties are coming to the negotiating table. So the next narrative right now is recession. Everyone's, if there is a US recession, and everyone's got different views as to whether or not there is going to be a recession right now. And I'm going to show you that the smart investors actually aren't asking whether or not there is going to be a recession. I'll show you why. So JP Morgan is saying, if there is no recession, the March 8th low was the bottom of the market, And he says, I consider recession risk to be a close call given the rising energy price, rising credit rates, but I believe that the US will make it through without a recession. So the whole talk now, and I actually want to try and find you guys another video. If you give me a second, I'll try and find another video for you guys. I know it was sent to us in the research group. Let me try and find it for you guys. Hold on a second. It must be somewhere here. Here we go. So Scaramucci, who was on my show on Friday, great show. If you missed that show, you should watch that show. But let's quickly listen to what he said about a recession. And I'm going to explain to you what the smart money is doing in a recession. Because what retail are doing is that they're listening to CNBC and they're talking about a recession, right? So this is
straight into the conversation around what's happening in markets, because you just heard Will talking there about this near inversion of the yield curve. The Fed's gone pretty hawkish. What do you think it signals about the state of the US economy and where we're heading right now?
So historically, it would signal that we're heading into a recession 12 to 18 months from now, but I would be cautious on that data because of the war. You've got two conflating things happening at the same time. The ending of the pandemic, or at least the lockdown procedures in most of the world, and you've got the uncertainty about a ceasefire potentially in Ukraine and Russia. And I think that that has to abate, Dan, before we can really look at and analyze the data and determine whether or not it's consistent with the historical guidance and the indication of a recession. I'm not quite convinced that there'll be a recession. The economy is booming around the world. The inflation data is high because of the supply chain disruption, but also the Federal Reserve's induction of all that capital as a result of the crisis, the COVID-19 crisis. So for me, I want to be cautious, and I'm still very optimistic about the U.S. economy specifically and the overall stock market.
So is that?
So what you're seeing is you're seeing the smart money now, or the retail money, talking about recession, and is the US going to experience a recession? Now, what is a recession? A recession is a short period of time in which there is small growth or negative growth. That is effectively what a recession is. And the truth is that if there is a recession that is happening, it is happening right now. And when we get the data to tell us that there is a recession, that data is going to be historical data. So we're going to get the data for Q1, and we may get the data for Q2, and we may see that there was a negative growth in Q1, and there's going to be a negative growth in Q2. But the truth is that that is historical data. And if there is a recession, we're living in the recession right now. And I don't think that we're going to get a prolonged recession. So I don't think we're going to get a depression. I think we may just get a slight recession while the Fed tries to increase interest rates. And so that's why right now it feels like everybody is on the fence. But the smart money is not on the fence. The smart money is using this opportunity to allocate capital while everybody is talking about a recession, and psychologically everyone is backing away because we may be in a recession, I don't know about you, but nothing changed for me between now and a week ago. We may be in a recession, but I'm still doing exactly what I'm supposed to be doing. I come to work every morning. I'm still investing. In fact, I'm investing much more aggressively now. And the reason why that's happening is because that's what the smart money is doing. The smart money is actually allocating more capital and into the markets during this period. So we're not buying the retail narrative. We're actually allocating more money into this period. And not only are we allocating more money, but we're allocating more money to riskier assets. And you can see that there are multiple indicators that tell you that the sentiment is changing and that the smart money, the early money, is starting to now move away from being out of the market to actually investing in the market. The reason why you should be investing in the market now is because everything has become a lot cheaper now. ETH is a lot cheaper now than it was in December or in January or whenever before this dip started. Early allocations are much cheaper. Project valuations are much cheaper now than they were back then. And so what the smart money is doing is they're saying, look, recession, no recession, we may be living through it, we may not be living through it, but it's time to start going risk on. And you can see it. The first chart that gives us this sign is the ETH BTC chart, because that is a proxy as to whether people are starting to move from Bitcoin into ETH. And what you can see that the ETH BTC chart is actually starting to tell you that it might be time to move your money into Ethereum. Carl, what do you say? Would you and El Capo, would you be moving money into Ethereum?
Maybe.
Are you going risk on finally?
Slowly but surely, yes.
You see, even Carl's going risk on finally. And then you've got the Fear and Greed Index, which is now back at greed. So now we're back at 55. We're back at greed. Yesterday we were at 56. In fact, I think we were at 56 yesterday. So again, we're at extreme. We're starting to get into greed. We're not at extreme greed yet, but we are at greed. And then you've got another indicator, which is telling you that money is starting to flow into altcoins and into higher risk assets because the market is starting to get more confidence. And that is this market cap, the BTC dominance on the market cap. So what you can see is that you had the breakthrough, you had the test or the retest probably, and now we're starting to make our way down. We were going down yesterday, and again, we're going down again. So you can see again, we're starting to creep into higher risk, higher return territory. That is what the sentiment is around the smart money. And if you want to make money right now, you should probably be following the smart money. That's what I always say. I always say that you should be following the smart money because they know exactly what they're doing. They're spending all their time, effort, energy. And if you look at what the smart money is doing, the smart money is pouring more money right now into blockchain than ever before. So in 2014, only 900 million went into blockchain startups. In 2017, 2.2 billion went in. And we thought, I remember in 2017, we thought that was like, wow, 2.2 billion is flowing into blockchain. Fast forward, 2020, 7 billion, 6.8 billion. 2021, $32 billion is flowed into VC in blockchain. And that number is going to be obliterated in 2022 because you think about what's happened in 2022, all these funds raised a whole lot more capital. So you got A16Z's Katie Yuan, who left A16Z, and she raised a huge fund. Pantera has raised another fund. Multicoin has raised their biggest fund ever. I think it was a $350 million raise. And all that is going to be invested. And fund managers are going to be investing it now. This is when the fund managers are going to be investing it. So there's a whole lot of money on the sideline, which is basically waiting to be invested into crypto and blockchain companies. That's what the smart money is telling you. They're not stopping because they think that there may be a recession. So you look at companies that we respect, VCs that we respect. So people like Three Arrows Capital, Carl Davis and Suzu. He says, I think I allocated more venture capital in the past 6 months than the previous 10 years. That's the sentiment that's out there in the market. So when he tweeted this, I thought to myself, well, what have we done with our VC? And we invested more, we deployed more capital in the last 3 months than we deployed in the entire year last year. So we were looking for deals. Deals were getting too expensive for us. But when the market started to correct, deals were becoming cheap again. And so we deployed more money in the last 3 months than we've deployed. And we continue to deploy money today. So that's what VCs are doing. The other thing that the same fund is doing is they're buying ETH, which is strange. So you could see, he says, Suzu, who's Carl Davis's partner, he says, feeling cute, might withdraw a few 100,000 ETH from exchanges. Okay, he wasn't joking because what they did then was they withdrew 71,000 Ethereum from Bitfinex, FTX, and Binance. And what they did was they staked them in a Curve pool. Huge. So 71,000 ETH have been withdrawn. And again, I love looking at these guys and I love looking at what they're holding, but I always look at what they're holding and take it with a pinch of salt. And I'll show you in a second why I take it with a pinch of salt. So I just went onto their website and I found their select investments. So they're only showing you the ones that they're invested in. And the reason why I find it so good is because I always compare my investment thesis to their investment thesis. So you can see they also very big on layer ones, and you can see which layer ones they are invested in. Pretty similar to ours: Solana, Terra, Polkadot, Kusama, Ethereum, Avalanche. Pretty similar to ours. And then you look at their DeFi investments, and a lot of them are very similar to ours. A lot of them are slightly different. And so you can get a feel for the capital that you're following just by going to the website. And what you can see is that they're not slowing down. They are buying, and they're buying Ethereum. Now. The reason why I think that that's so cool is because this is what Suzu tweeted in December 7th, okay, 91,477 ETH were transferred from FTX and Binance to a marked wallet as 3 Hours Capital. He says, I couldn't let you guys jerk off and watch the burn without me. ETH layer 1 is unusable for newcomers. Show it to your grandma if you don't believe me. I'll still bid it up on a panic dump like this weekend. So he doesn't think that ETH is the best investment in the world, but he was looking for an opportunity to buy ETH, and he bought ETH. And he's buying ETH again now. So that's what the smart money is doing. They are starting to invest, and you can see where the smart money is going, which tokens they're going to. And I guess that's the easiest way to make money, is to have your finger on the pulse and see what the smart money is doing. If they must know something that you don't. That's why they are smart money. That's why he has 70,000 Ethereum to move from exchange to exchange. There's only like 3 people that I know that have 70,000 Ethereum. So one of them is him. Then Carl has 68,000 Ethereum. And then Fred has 66,000 Ethereum. That's the only 3 people I know that can do transactions like that. So that's what it is. Sheldon also has Ethereum. I think he's got 4.
The rest in render.
Yeah, the rest is in render. Sheldon's show today was brilliant, huh?
Good.
The portfolio show was insane. If you haven't watched it, go and watch it. His show was absolutely unbelievable. All right, let's look at where else the smart money is putting their money. So there's a report by CoinShares. CoinShares is effectively it's a non-US based company. I think that they domiciled in like Cayman Islands or one of those. They domiciled in one of those BVI or Cayman Islands or whatever else. And you can see what they do is they create products for institutional investors. And I always like to look at this report, because what this report tells me is where these people are putting their money. And what I saw last week for the first time is that money. So first of all, for the first time last week, if you look at it, the first time they've had a positive week in inflows. So they've had negative weeks, and now for the first time they actually had their first positive week in terms of weekly inflows. Where did the money go though? Because that's what you want to see. Obviously Bitcoin. Obviously anyone that's putting money into blockchain is putting money into Bitcoin. And then obviously a little bit came into Ethereum. Okay, but the third one, which shocked me, is look how much money went into Solana. So look how much money went into Solana. In 1 week, they had $87 million going to Solana. Now, the net amount is not a big amount. Okay, I know, so 87 million is not like, wow, billions of dollars. But it shows where institutional sentiment is. And we can see that Solana is 87, Polkadot 1.2. So Solana, someone is thinking about Solana. Someone is saying that for a while, money hasn't flowed into Solana, and it is time for money to start flowing into Solana. And I did a switch the other day. Remember I said to you I was starting to sell some of my Luna, and I told you guys that I put some of the money into Solana. And both of them have done well. Right now, I think my trade is pretty even. But if you ask me which one is going to get into $250 first, whether it's Avalanche, Solana, or Luna, I would say Avalanche comes last, and then it becomes a race between Solana and Luna. Now, since Solana's been there before, it's always easier for a token to get to a price to where it was before than it is for a token to get into price discovery and get to new highs. So let's quickly look at it here. So just so you can get a feel for what I'm thinking. Solana. Let's look at the Solana perpetual USD on FTX. And what you can see is that we've had a clear breakout from Solana, but the high for Solana is $260. So for Solana to get back to $269 is much easier than for a new token to start doing that climb. So I think that that's what fund managers are seeing. I also think that they're looking slightly more at the fundamentals because they're smart money. And there are a few things happening in the fundamentals. The first thing that is happening is this. Okay, they call it the worst kept secret in crypto because everyone kind of knew it was coming. Even OpenSea, actually, if I remember correctly, even OpenSea said it's the worst kept secret in crypto that Solana was coming to OpenSea, and it is coming to OpenSea now. So now you're going to be able to buy Solana NFTs on OpenSea, and that may actually increase a lot of volume because OpenSea is by far the biggest NFT trading platform. I think they did $24 billion in NFT volume last year, if I'm not mistaken. Something as big as that. Let's have a look here. Yeah, they did $24 billion in annual sales. That's what they did. So that's huge. And now you've got Solana NFTs coming to OpenSea. So that's one thing that's working in Solana's favor. You see, they said it's the worst kept secret in crypto. So they say the best, but they're being sarcastic. You've got Solana coming to Anchor Protocol. So you will be able to use BSOL, or to actually put your Solana onto Anchor Protocol soon. So that's another, and to take to loan against it, which is again another use case for Solana. You've got the Opera browser also now talking about supporting Solana. So another thing in Solana's favor. So something else. What else? You've got this news which we told you about last week, but PUBG, which is a massive gaming developer in Korea, they've partnered with Solana and they're going to start making games on Solana. So I think the narrative shifted away from Solana for a long period of time. And I think now, as the market is waking up to Solana. So I think if you're looking for a layer one, and you're not really fussy about timing the market, then start buying Solana. And if you are fussy about timing the market, then maybe wait for an opportunity to be buying Solana. People are asking, does that mean that Radium come back to life? I think if Solana runs, all the protocols in Solana that are actually being used will start running, and I think that'll be quite good, quite amazing. What else? So Cardano. I mean, I didn't see this coming, but it looks like it might actually be right. It says the volume of on-chain transactions of bigger than $100,000 has increased by 50x in 2022. Yesterday, a total of 69 billion Cardano were moved in large transactions. So what it's showing you is that the trade in Cardano right now is not retail trade, unless Kyle is buying Cardano, because only you could buy 69 billion Cardano. But you can see that what it is. You see, is it Altcoin Gordon? Is it Altcoin Gordon? Okay. So you can see that there's an institutional narrative, and the institutional narrative is actually starting to buy Cardano. Yeah. And the other one which institutions are buying is Polkadot. So we've spoken about this. Most crypto funds in the world, the one protocol which is most widely held by crypto funds as of Q4 last year, was actually Polkadot. And that's actually quite interesting. And I'll tell you why I think that that's a very, very, very interesting narrative to be following. Polkadot is effectively like Cosmos. It's a multi-chain protocol. And when you think about Ethereum, and you think about Solana, and you think about Cardano, they are single-chain protocols. When you think about Avalanche was a single-chain protocol. Now they're talking about having all these subnets, which kind of makes it a multi-chain protocol. And there's a big debate as to whether the world is going to be a cross-chain world, where you're going to have people building on Solana, and people building on Ethereum, and people building on Cardano, and people building on Avalanche, and then bridging their tokens from one chain to the other, or whether you're going to get into this multi-chain world, which is a world like Cosmos or a world like Polkadot, where they have multiple chains all joining into one ecosystem. And that's the big debate that's been going on. And yesterday, we had something huge happen around this narrative. And that was, of course, that Ronin, which is effectively, let's talk about Ronin. What is Ronin? Ronin is a Ethereum sidechain, which was developed by Sky Mavis, which is the developers of Axie Infinity. So the same people that built the Axie Infinity game, they built a narrative. They built a second blockchain, a side chain on Ethereum, which is called Ronin. And they did this because they wanted to be EVM compatible. They wanted to use the Ethereum chain, but they couldn't use it for Axie Infinity because they wanted people to play, and the gas fees were just too high. So what did they do? They built their own blockchain. And yesterday, a bridge. Now, this is super important. Ronin, the blockchain, has not been exploited. So when you look at the price of Ronin, so let's quickly look at the price of Ronin, you got to be smarter than everybody else, okay? So you see, that's the price of Ronin. And that could mean that Ronin is a buy. If you had conviction in Ronin, Ronin's now at lows. if you have conviction in this chain. I'm not buying this chain because I just don't think that we need this gaming side chain, but we can talk to Hustle about that in a second. But what was breached was a bridge on Ronin, which had 173,600 Ethereum and $25.5 million US. And how the hacker got access to it, effectively, he managed to exploit 5 of 9 validators, because it's not very decentralized, it only has 9 validators. That just shows you the problem with these not decentralized protocols. And you can see that 5 of the 9 validators were exploited, and then he managed to steal 173,000 ETH and $25 million. And he has them all now sitting in this wallet, which is crazy. I think more crazy is that he stole the money. Get this. Because this is quite funny. He steals the money. He then deposits the money into an FTX account. But I don't know what he was doing. He was putting money ETH in and out. In 50 ETH, out, in, out, in, out, in, out.
Maybe he just wanted to test the platform, you know?
But for 2 hours, the guy was putting 50 ETH in, taking 50 ETH out. 50 ETH, what is that?
He deposited it in his enemy's wallets.
And how did he withdraw it? I mean, the guy was depositing money in and out and in and out and in and out of the ETH account. Now, there is speculation that he actually took a short position on Axie. So he knew that he had exploited the bridge. And then what does he do? He takes a short position on Ronin and on Axie. But because no one finds out about the short, the price continues to go up. So his short gets liquidated. You understand this? So, I mean, imagine this. You are smart enough to exploit the blockchain. You exploit the blockchain. And then what you do is, you know people are going to find out. So what you do is you take a short to try and double your money, basically. And then what happens? You don't tell anyone. And because you don't tell anyone, you don't leak the news, the price goes up. And then you get liquidated. And then the news comes out, and then the price goes down. Crazy. One of the craziest stories I've ever heard. You want to say that it can only happen in crypto. The event didn't have much of an effect on the Axie price. I mean, Axie is down about 15%, but I mean, Axie's still doing where it is. But I guess what we're going to talk about now is we're going to talk about a couple of things. The first thing we're going to talk about is, what is this guy going to do with the money now? Because everybody is watching this wallet. Everybody. What can he do with the money? The guy's basically stuck with $600 million. And what you can see is that if you do steal money, there's not much that you can do with the stolen money. For a few minutes, people thought that he might go to Tornado Cash. So if you look at Tornado Cash, people thought he might be able to launder money through Tornado Cash. And so if you watched yesterday, the price of Tornado Cash shot up, went from 45 all the way up to 58, because they thought, okay, the guy's got $600 million. He can launder it using Tornado Cash. But the truth is, you can't launder $600 million using Tornado Cash. So this guy's now got money, and he has no idea what to do with the money. What would you do? Someone says, hypothetically speaking, if I had $600 million of ETH, I would use it to pump the shit out of all the NFTs for weeks and hope that in the confusion and the frenzy, I'm able to wash out 10% or so. So like, you're basically stuck with this money, and you can't do anything with it. So we're seeing this because yesterday, there was a wallet containing 1,000 Bitcoin, which was activated. Now, this wallet, I remember this. This wallet hasn't been activated for a long time. And people say that it could be this money that was stolen from an exchange called Cryptsy. So people are watching wallets, and there's nothing you can do. What is this hacker going to do with the wallet? Now, in 2017, when protocols used to get hacked, it was a massive thing. And Travis Kling, who was around then, he says, anyone remember the Binance hack in May 2019 and the price action that followed? It completely crashed the entire market. Let's go to May 2019. And let's burn the studio too. We need to burn the studio. So let's go to May 2019. That was when Binance got hacked. I remember that. Okay, let's try that again.
Apparently so long to Parabolic.
Because I spoke about it. It wasn't me. It wasn't me. We don't pump tokens on the show. Okay, hold on. Let me try that again. This mouse is so sensitive that if you just talk about it, it sends you back. Okay, let's try this. No, leave me alone. Come on. You must be joking. Okay, well, okay, so there we go. Now we can start moving around. So let's go to 2019, and let's go to May 2019, and let's see what happened when Binance was hacked. And Binance wasn't hacked for as much as this hack. Here, I think it's this. It's somewhere around here. Let's see. Let's go back. I remember it so clearly. I remember these hacks. I think it was somewhere around here. So we had the Bitcoin price trading at 5.6, and the Bitcoin price went down to 4.8. So 15% drop in the Bitcoin price when there was a hack. And the market has matured so much that now we're not getting these things because this guy can't dump the $600 million worth of ETH. Simple, can't happen. But the bigger discussion is around this cross-chain versus multi-chain world. Because, I don't know if you guys remember, but Vitalik actually warned around this cross-chain world. And he said, it's not going to be a cross-chain world. It's going to be a multi-chain world. And the reason why I said that, he said that in a blog, and I think the blog post was somewhere here. And he said, my argument why the future will be multi-chain, but it will not be cross-chain, is what he said in this whole thing. He said, because if you have your money in a bridge and your bridge, the bridge gets exploited, you lose the money, right? So that is exactly what Vitalik said. He said, if you have your money in a bridge and the bridge gets exploded, you lose the money. If you have your money on a chain and the chain gets exploited for some reason, which very rarely happens, but it can happen, then all they do is they roll back the chain if they decide to do that, and you still get your money back. So he said the future is going to be a multi-chain future, and it's not going to be a cross-chain future. That's what he said. And we're now seeing that just this year, in 2022, we've had $1 billion exploited from bridges. We had the Wormhole bridge hacked for $320 million. Remember, that's where Jump Capital, Jump Crypto moved in and decided to help. And then you got the Ronin bridge for $625 million today. And so we're starting to understand the vulnerabilities of bridges, which makes bridges very scary. And that got me thinking about a protocol that I have been speaking to you guys about for a couple of days. Full disclosure, I'm not an investor. Full disclosure, I want to be an investor. You see, on this channel, we disclose so much. We even disclose the tokens we're not invested in and we want to invest in, okay? So full disclosure, I'm not an investor. Full disclosure, I want to be an investor. Full disclosure, because I'm greedy, I didn't get in at 260 and at 280. But I probably should have. I probably should have got into Stargate. And the reason why it would probably be smart to get into Stargate, and I'm not telling you to get in now because, as I say, I haven't bought in yet, and I'm looking for an opportunity to get in. And I just can't justify buying for $3.18 billion fully diluted valuation. But what Stargate uses, Stargate is a cross-chain, multi-chain protocol. But what it does is it doesn't suspend your tokens in a bridge. It doesn't do that. It uses a base layer. Now, what they call this base layer is they call it layer 0. So you get guaranteed finality, which is what you need. They call this unified liquidity pools. Yes, that's what they call it, which is like a layer 0 under all the protocols where they have liquidity pools. And what it does is it doesn't use bridges, doesn't suspend your tokens in bridges. Because if you think about what a bridge is, you lock up 100 ETH on Ethereum and it mints 100 ETH worth of Solana on Solana. And somewhere in the middle, your tokens are suspended in this bridge. And that's the Ronin part that was exploited. And Stargate completely takes that out of the picture and has these unified liquidity pools which sit on a layer 0, which is why the company that developed Stargate, or the protocol underneath Stargate, is actually called layer 0. And what Stargate is Stargate is, if you want to call it, the exchange or the app on layer 0. And it allows you to swap tokens, USDC. So I can go and swap, I don't have a wallet connected here, but I can swap USDC from Ethereum to USDT on Avalanche. And I can do this with one click. That is the genius behind Stargate. Now, I don't know if I should tell people this, because if I tell people this, they'll ape, and then I'm not going to be able to buy. But what I did see, and you go and do your own research, but there are insane yields right now on Stargate. So if you look at the yields, let me make it bigger for you. Right now, you can get 20% on USD deposits on Stargate. And I think that you're getting this in Stargate tokens. So maybe one way to get Stargate tokens, I think you get in Stargate tokens. That I'll have to check. But if you stake on Stargate, you're getting 20% on your USD or 18% or 17% on your USD on Stargate, which is, to me, I think an amazing, amazing protocol. I think the TVL, and we can look at this together. Let's look at DeFi Llama and look at the TVL. I think the TVL was about $2.8 billion, if I remember correctly. Let's see if we can find it here. Okay, I think it was about $2.8 billion. I'll get you guys. I will get you guys the information. So that is, I think, this debate about cross-chain or multi-chain. I think it's going to be a multi-chain world. If it's going to be a cross-chain world, then I think layer 0 and maybe a very critical part of that. And that is, I think, why FTX landed up buying the entire public cell. They just like bought the entire public cell. It's something crazy. All right, let's quickly look at other news today, because I see we are running out of time. And then Fred's going to walk in here in a second. Don't know if any of you have been watching the Luna address. $139 million transferred from the Luna address to Binance. We know what happens next. The Luna Foundation is going to continue to buy, and maybe there's going to be another $139 million candle today. And I tweeted at Do Kwon today. I said, is stable Kwon indicating the end of a cycle? Because he's now increased his numbers to 139, and in numerology, 139 represents the end of a cycle. I love this. So he said to me, he says, he sent me a reply, and he said something, go get some sleep, bud. So, so it doesn't look like he's going to stop buying, right? And what he's done is he's managed to get mainstream media talking about Luna. We even now have CNBC. Listen to this.
A crypto project called Terra is emerging as a major buyer of Bitcoin.
So Terra is now on CNBC.
For what's known as a stable coin, or a cryptocurrency pegged to the price of $1. The project confirming this week that it bought another $135 million worth of Bitcoin, bringing its total this year to roughly $1 billion. And unlike other so-called stable coins, it's not backed by cash or cash equivalents. It's going to be partially backed by Bitcoin. The ultimate goal, according to its founder, Do Kwon, is to build up $10 billion worth of reserves. And Terra is among the top 5 blockchains out there. So you can think of it as a competitor to Ethereum, and it's got a lot more going on than just this stable coin. There's a number of other cryptocurrencies and initiatives. One of those is the popular cryptocurrency called Luna. The stable coin I mentioned, UST, has grown to a $16 billion market cap.
Okay, now look, I don't want to say anything. But I remember when CNBC taught people how to buy XRP at $3. It was the last time that XRP ever saw $3. And probably the last time ever that XRP will ever see $3. Will XRP hit $3 first or 0 first? I'm starting a fight here. Starting a real fight here. All right. We are running a little bit out of time, but let's forget about time today. Just have fun. So I don't know if you guys saw this podcast between Shin and Do Kwon, and I think that you got to listen to this podcast. There's some nuggets in this podcast. Listen to this. What do you think?
Can you? Yeah, so it's not a reserve ratio per se. It's more the, when UST is being minted, some ratio, which we don't know yet. It could be 40%, be higher or lower, would be used to acquire Bitcoin. So it's as if like UST seigniorage is being used to build up BTC reserves.
Okay. And so then that ratio will be flexible based on whatever other factors. And will it be the DAO?
Right, Bitcoin volatility.
Oh, Bitcoin volatility. And will it be the DAO that decides that ratio, or? Oh, okay. Oh, interesting.
Correct.
Because oftentimes, these proposals can take a while. So how flexible and quick do you think they'll be able to react to market volatility?
Well, so for example, if we build up Bitcoin reserves at around like 40% of seigniorage, here's what I think about it. So first is, I think it'll take rare events for UST supply to contract by 40% in a short-term time period. So at a 40% reserve ratio, I feel like we would be collateralizing more than we need to, especially because the core stability mechanism is still Luna. But what the Bitcoin reserves will play a part in doing is that it will prevent debt spirals because it would drastically slow down the pace by which new Luna is being minted to facilitate redemptions. Second, I think in a long-term arc, we plan to be one of the largest, if not the largest, single wallet holder of Bitcoin, the Terra protocol itself. And I think over the long arc, the price of Bitcoin is going to do well. So I think the reserve ratio that we end up with in the long term is going to be a lot higher than the reserve ratio that we paid for at acquisition.
Wow. Okay. So he wants to be the biggest Bitcoin holder in the world. And what's interesting is, right now, whenever you mint a new UST, a new dollar, $1 worth of UST, you burn $1 worth of Luna. Now, I think the proposal is that they're going to burn some 70 cents worth of Luna, and they're going to buy 30 cents worth of Bitcoin. And so that is how they're going to become the biggest Bitcoin holder in the world. And I actually think he's going to pull this off. Now, do yourself a favor. Go to Laura Shin's channel. It's called the Unchained Podcast. Subscribe to her channel because she's absolutely amazing. She's an amazing, amazing journalist who's been around for a long time. She's a friend of mine. She's absolutely amazing. I've done some shows with her. But listen to this podcast. I think this is one of the most pivotal podcasts. I think this podcast could go down as a turning point, for Luna and for altcoins. What else? You can see he wants to be one of the biggest holders in the world. Right now, Michael Saylor is the third biggest wallet in the world, right? He's got 123,000 Bitcoin. They have got 23,000 Bitcoin. So I think that they number 37 and somewhere around there. So they're one of these, 37. That's where they are. Is there anything else today? No, I think that's all for today. Let's have some fun. Let's do some giveaways and let's get hustled and find out what's going on the gaming show. The Love Muscle, bro, well done on your amazing show last night. Such a good show covering the Ronin exploits. Much better than I could ever do it.
I appreciate it. Yeah, it was too big of a story to let it go. And if we talked about it today on my show, it would have been too much of yesterday's news, so to speak, in the gaming world. So today we're actually going to walk through how to... Go ahead.
You know what blew me away, bro? You came on ready to do a show. You were literally going live when I phoned. Yeah. And I said, you got to pivot the show. You made a thumbnail within 3 minutes and you went live. I was like, don't you want to research something? Don't you want to find out? No, you went live, bro. And you killed it. You knocked it out of the park. I don't know many people in the industry that could do shit like that.
I appreciate it.
Immediately, I don't know if anyone could do that.
You can't improvise in this business specifically. I don't know.
No, bro. Not as good as you did last night. All right, shoot. Tell me what's on tonight. I'm going to phone you 1 minute before and we're going to pivot again just to see how good you are.
Perfect. That sounds good. We're going to provide one of the first walkthroughs on how to get started on the new DFK DeFi Kingdoms chain. It opens up here in about, actually, I think it might have just opened up or it opens up in an hour, one of the two. So we'll do a complete walkthrough of how to get started in DeFi Kingdoms Crystalvalve on their brand new blockchain. We'll see the capability. We'll see how fast the transactions are. And we'll show you exactly how to pair up your liquidity and start staking for Crystal.
Sure. Unbelievable. I'm going to watch it because I'm a big fan of DeFi Kingdoms. Huge. Are you showing this DeFi Kingdoms on the Avalanche subnet or
subnet,
not?
Correct. They launched their subnet today. Correct.
Amazing. Oh, it's going to be amazing. Hustle, see you later, bro. Can't wait.
Appreciate it, Rand. See you.
All right, let's have some fun now with the community. So what I have here is a list of accounts. If you don't have a ByBit account, then what I suggest you do is you go and get a ByBit account with our referral link below. And you don't have to trade or anything, just put money into the account. Now, I'm going to select a couple of winners. I'm going to highlight who the winners are, and I'm going to double the value of their portfolio. Okay, so whatever you got in your portfolio, I'm going to double it. Okay, so if you got $1, I'm going to give you an extra $1 in BitDAO tokens. If you got $10, I'm going to give you an extra $10. If you got $80, I'm going to give you an extra $80. If you've got $5,000, I'm going to give you $5,000, but that's where I stop. Okay, so if you got $100,000, otherwise I don't know, maybe I'll pick a whale because I don't know who these people are.
Big friend.
All right, let's and it's all numbers. So I can't see. I don't know who the numbers are. I think that's the only way to make it fair. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just select. So I'm going to select number 20. Okay, and in a second we're going to actually find out who they are. Okay, and we're going to find out how much money they got. I'm going to select number 20, and I'm going to select number 91. Tell me what your favorite. Come on, tell me what your favorite number is in the comments, and then I'll pick that number. So just tell me what's your favorite number, and you can go all the way down to I've got like thousands. So just pick a number. Pick a number. And then we'll find out who these people are, and we'll see how much money they've won. It's going to be amazing. Okay, number 14. Daniel says go to number 14. Number 14 is a winner. Okay, let's pick one more for today, and then we'll do the same tomorrow. We'll keep doing it. 69. We're going to do 69. We're going to do 69. Okay. So, okay, now, let's see how much money these guys have got in the account. Now, remember, I'm doubling this up to $5,000. Up to $5,000. I can't do 69 without 420. Tomorrow I'll do 420, okay? Because I'm just scared these guys could be whales, and I'm paying for this. Okay, let's see how much money they got in their accounts. This is where it's going to become fun. How do you unhide on Google Sheets? Because I have no idea how to use Google Sheets. I'm a retard when it comes to Google Sheets. Okay, so number 14 has $20. Okay, so we're going to double it for you. Number 20 has $240. We're going to double that for you. Number 69 has $50. We're going to double that for you. Number 91 has $49. We're going to double that for you. Let's do 420 as well. Come on. It was cheap. Let's do 420. 420 has $50. We're going to double that for you. Okay, so that's how it works. From now on, that's how it works. Every day, we're going to come onto the show. And if you have a ByBit account with the Crypto Banter referral link, we're going to double the amount of money in your account. So today, those are the lucky winners. You're going to win double. We're going to credit your account with double the amount of money. And tomorrow, we're going to do it again. And we're going to keep doing it. So go and get a referral link. That's it. Now, also, if you're on the website and you want to win one of those Chingari NFTs. Now, remember, Chingari is like the TikTok of India. And they've given us, I don't care how many they've given us. I'm just going to give away. These NFTs are the NFTs that advertisers have to have. They have to have this to advertise. So imagine you want to advertise on their platform. You have to have one of these NFTs. So go to our website. By the way, the website's looking amazing. And it's the biggest alpha website that I know. Sniper's been dropping charts on this website more than people drop bombs after eat baked beans. Okay, that's how quickly Sniper has been dropping charts. And so obviously he just did an Axie chart. I saw he did a chart earlier. Here's another chart from him. Okay, so he's done a whole lot of charts. Then there is an article about Solana. Just go to any one of the articles and you can be a winner. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to go in here. Just at random. Go in. I'm going to find some people in the comments. Melvin Boy says, love this website. So Melvin wins one of those Chingari NFTs. But if Melvin has a ByBit account and he has money in the ByBit account, I will double the money in his ByBit account also. Okay, that's a good deal. I mean, now, for those of you who are not chart people, let's go and do it on the Solana story. So let's find someone in the Solana story. The average Joe on. Okay, this guy said it's time. This guy, he wins one of those Chingari NFTs. And also, if he has a ByBit account, we're going to double the money in his ByBit account. You got it. So that's how it's going to work here. Got to make this into a game show. Let's have fun. Let's live. Let's have fun. Let's do it again tomorrow. What do you say? Let's do it again tomorrow. See you guys again tomorrow. Until then, have fun, my friends. Trade well. The ByBit game's fun, eh? You don't know who's behind the curtain.
I'm topping up.
I must say, I sat there like, what if we like have 2 5,000s? That's the end of it.
You don't choose anywhere else.
No, I mean we must. We must give away to the community. So we must.
It's a good thing to cap.